And welcome to a brand new episode of Formula Pod. A new season, and we didn't end up doing episodes on the launch, but we actually recorded the episode on the launch. It was just that our audio quality sucks quite well that we were just like, we cannot put this out. And yeah, DTS just kind of came, and then we all were busy with our lives. So altogether, we were like, okay, why not? Let's start it off with Australia. Even that also came in late, but here we are. The boy gang of Formula Pod is back in business. Welcome back, Mihir and Nathan. Good to see you guys after a while.
Hi everyone, it feels so great to be back in this season. Australia, unfortunately, I couldn't get a chance to watch the Australian race. I did watch the highlights, I did watch the points table. I was very shocked. I'm very impressed with the rookies, and I'm assuming that we would be talking about the rookies more this episode, right, Arjun?
Yeah.
I think Nathan's a bit of a rookie when it comes to Formula One as well. Nathan, how new are you to Formula One?
Very new, very new. In fact, I haven't, like yourself, Mihir, I haven't been keeping up with Formula One. I haven't been keeping up. I haven't even watched the weekend, the full qualifying
Okay.
session, the race weekend, and
You
it's
can't put
bad.
me, you cannot put me next to you. I actually watched the practice sessions. I read the news. I just
Oh
couldn't get an
wow!
opportunity to watch the race because I was drunk. Okay? And I was trying to head back to London from celebrating Holi with my best friends in Exeter. So I had an excuse. But Nathan on the other side, you naughty boy, what were you doing?
Naughty boy, yeah. It's a long episode if we talk about my issues. So let's move on to Formula One.
I feel like Lewis Hamilton and Nathan are on the same page. None of them get a break from each other.
Hey, you know
Anyway,
what? It was a good race for me to skip. I'll just say that much.
Yeah. Let's kick it off. Talking about the Australian Grand Prix, I would say I'm seeing for the very first time a wet race in Australia, because all the times I've seen it's a dry and a slick race versus a wet and intense race. And that's the first time I'm seeing, like, again, we did see earlier on with the weather update saying, oh, it's going to rain. And like, there are certain set of drivers on wets, they are the best. But yeah, we kind of saw the opposite instead. Like, all the best ones, all were getting like eliminated quickly, or they were not in points. And yeah, Lando Norris again wins, breaking Max Verstappen's streak of leading the championship after 1,028 days.
now Arjun, obviously you saw the race, you saw the small details in that race. A lot of people were asking me this question, and I would like to, ask you this question. Do you think it is the era of McLaren this season from how it looks? Obviously, you can't judge a team, a car, a driver in one race, but obviously you get some understanding on how things go about. And do you think, personally, are McLaren's going to be trouble for Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes?
Yes. Reason being, again, I'm going to pick a statement with George Russell said. George Russell said they don't have to work on the 2025 car because it's already fast. They might as well work on the 2026 car. And even though you're saying this, again, there was still errors from Oscar Piastri. So there is some work which is still there, which needs to be done, as it was said on Drive to Survive. But at the same time, you've got not one but two constructors with the equal set of points, because
Right.
Mercedes are tallying up with McLaren, because both the drivers in the top five, easily 27 points there. So it's just really interesting to see, like, how what you call the race kind of went on, because on one side you were having a time where it was McLaren 1-2, and then you had Red Bull joining the party. You've got a strong Williams there, which was a surprise. And at the same, like, by the mid of the race, you're seeing a Sauber coming into mix, trying to fight for the top six, top seven positions, and you've got the Ferraris being the back markers this time. And in fact, I feel like now the grid is even more closer. All this while, it was either, oh, there's only two teams coming in. But from this very first race, the one thing which I feel like I have noticed is seven teams actually scored points. Seven teams. You've got McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, our Visa Cash App RB, Aston Martin, Williams, Sauber, and Ferrari.
You had to mention Ferrari in the end, right? Yeah, that hurts, man.
Well,
Sorry.
again, it was just 2 points, and again, I have some beef to kind of pick up between Hamilton and Ricardo Adami. Seriously, the radio messages. He's like, "Don't give me too much information." Again, certain people have criticized us, saying that okay, that is not how the way the driver, like Lewis, must have communicated back with Ricardo. But at the same time, certain people do support saying that okay, Hamilton is a driver, like he would like to have a same working relationship with Bono, with Peter Bonington, who is right now race engineer for Kimi Antonelli. And it's just that like he would want to kind of do so. I feel like again, still a big learning curve for Hamilton and working around the Ferrari engine.
See, the thing is, the one thing that has been Ferrari's downfall, even last year and in the previous seasons, has been communication. And communication in this sport is very key, especially from the race engineer to the driver and driver to race engineer. Both ways, the communication needs to be flawless. So, Lewis and Ricardo's relationship is just started. I mean, it's the first race. So, you know how we talk about butterflies in your stomach when you get on stage for the first time. You have that feeling, which is it's weird. It's probably those that that sort of first date kind of vibe. I don't know, where it's
Mhm.
all awkward, and probably Hamilton misses Peter and Ricardo misses Carlos. So maybe it's that phase, and maybe we'll just have to see China and the next few races to see if it will work out. I'm sure they will, fix it. I don't know if they will fix it like they have been trying to do for the past few years with their car and the championship hopes and everything. But let's see.
Yeah, personally, like I felt the same because again, we have said this earlier on this podcast that two or three races are too like sorry 1 to 2 races are too soon to judge the team, judge the car. We need to give it a bit more time. Say 3 to 5 races will be the ideal time we get to know where this car is placed or not. But we know with this particular race we had about, if I'm not wrong, 5 retirements. But in that one, there was just this one driver who actually went into the strategist mode and helped his teammate to end up getting into points, and that was Carlos Sainz. You like we know Alex Albon, a driver who pushes the maximum from his car, and it's just that for the first time, like when I heard James Wall saying that, okay, we had an additional strategist, and Carlos's insights were incredibly useful, and the strategist on deck was basically the previous winner for the Australian Grand Prix. And actually, like to be very honest, I seeing that I was like, this guy probably is team principal material as well. That actually gave me that thought. Like, what do you guys think?
I think what Carlos did was phenomenal. I think he's playing it safe, to be honest, and he should be in the first three races, as you said before. It's crucial to just stick with the rules and not really experiment or think outside the blue. Um, just so you can, I feel like I'll start again. In the first few races, just be in the points table. You don't have to conquer. You don't have to defend. Just play your game. Play it safe. And as the races go by, because you have many opportunities to actually gain points later on, you can definitely go out, attack, find those gaps,
Yeah.
overtake. But for these small ones, I think Carlos is absolutely doing the right thing. Plus, it's a new team, it's a new engine. I wouldn't say it's the same feeling as Ferrari, Lewis and Ferrari, because obviously Lewis Hamilton's he's a goat, right? And it really won't take him that long to really adjust to a new team. Obviously, he's been with Mercedes and AMG Mercedes for so long, but he's been in this game for since his teenage years, so I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. Carlos is still, I wouldn't say he's a rookie, but I think he's not as experienced as Lewis. So I think what Carlos is doing is absolutely right. That's he's okay doing that. A lot of people think, and Arjun and Nathan, I want your input in this. A lot of people come up to me and tell me, "Oh yeah, Carlos moving to Williams, isn't that a downgrade?" I personally don't think that's a downgrade. I think he's trying to make his name. He's trying to be the main driver. And I don't think there's anything wrong from starting from a team like Williams, which isn't that low, to be honest. Williams is, all the teams are very well uniformed and I wouldn't say equal engines, but they have the resources and they have the ability and talent. And Carlos is quite talented when it comes to actually driving. And I think if you had to tell me or list down like the top three mature drivers on the grid, Carlos would be in the top three.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I
So, but the
think,
question is, Nathan. Well, I've never heard Nathan's voice in so long. Nathan, do you think it was? Do you think starting a driver who drove for Ferrari has dropped down to McLaren? Do you think that's a good strategy, or do you think that's a downgrade?
see, I think if people who have watched Drive to Survive, if you've seen the episode of Carlos Sainz trying to talk to the team principals of Stake and Alpine and Williams, you could see that James Well's project in Williams was was the one that caught Sainz's attention, and it was for a good reason. I mean, if you look at the past two teams that Sainz is driven for, you look at McLaren and you look at Ferrari, those two teams had a long term prospective driver in Lando Norris for McLaren and Charles Leclerc for Ferrari. So it was very hard for him, Carlos Sainz, to kind of make his way in that team and be a main driver, if that makes sense, because both those teams had really put all their resources into making Lando and Charles their future main driver. So it was hard for him to really, make a spot for himself and make a name for himself in those big teams. Well, granted, he did get good results in those two teams. He's won races in Ferrari, but I think this Williams project is very, very. It will surprise us, and it's definitely surprised us for Australia. We don't know what the real pace of the car is. I mean, it's a wet race, so all the cars are really close together, which is why you had seven different constructors and the top 10 finishing in the points. But we'll only get to know the true pace of the Williams with in couple of races. And by the looks of it, Carlos, even I think I read in one of the practice sessions, he topped one of the sessions, and everyone was talking about how Williams is in front of the midfield, and they're trying to join the top four of Formula One at the moment. Yeah, I mean the future is amazing for Williams, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, have to agree with what you guys said. Williams is they're ticking all the boxes right in terms of development, and again because James Hall's coming from Mercedes, he as a person he's a pure strategist, and he is ensuring that okay whatever he does doesn't bite him back. And till now his execution has been flawless. Again, signing in Logan Sargent was one thing which I wouldn't say he would be because it's not him who signed him in the first place. It was I forgot his Jos Capito, but it's just that now he is trying to kind of rectify those and kind of work it around. And I like his what do you call his sort of mentality. He's like 2024, 2025, I don't care. 2026 onwards, we need to get our act together and this is what we want to go forward with. And such an attitude has really, really helped the team because the team is like, okay, we're not in trouble. If anything happens, it's going to be fine. Again, they are not taking it that seriously. If they win and if they get well, great. They've worked it out. They know what to do. If not, they're like, okay, it's fine. Like we can figure things out. So that approach really helps in a way. And definitely for a team like Williams, again, it is hyped up because of Carlos Sainz. And I feel with the Australia performance, it actually delivered it. Like, again, Carlos did retire. That was a bit unfortunate. But, like, yeah, they are doing the right things, I would say. But keeping Williams aside, I want to talk about the fastest Ferrari on that particular race. It was not Ferrari, it was Stake. Last year, the team only managed to score 4 points in 24 races. This year, within one race, they've managed to score 6 points. It's like uh, typically in a PR perspective, we call that what you call a revolutionizing story, where like from nothing you're trying to make up something. Say if say for example Sauber finishes this year say with 20, 30 points, they'll be like, oh, they're improving, they're working towards it. Like they want to prove to the Audi management that the what you call the personnel there is really efficient enough to progress this team forward. So yeah, I really want to discuss about that because we know Nico Hulkenberg. He is a very very strong driver. He tries not to make mistakes, and plus he's German, so his driving is really good. All Germans, they drive really well.
I'm so sorry. Do you just say that? Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it.
Go
I'm
for
good.
it, John.
He was going to say something.
I was gonna say something. I was like, just because he's German doesn't mean he's a good driver. It's okay.
Uh, okay.
Yeah, man.
I just give some comment about like again. I'm not saying it's bad. I said it's good.
Yeah,
German
but you said yeah, German
Mercedes
cars are good.
Mercedes is a German engine.
Yeah, and I know
That's
that.
why McLaren is winning with the Mercedes engine.
Okay, okay. Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, customer Arjun. Please. I'm just scared he's gonna cut my part now whenever when I talk.
Nobody if you want.
Anywho, yeah, I was pretty. I was reading up on it, and surprisingly, I did see Steak doing better than usual, and I hope this is a good start for them. They
Yeah.
really needed a fresh start from the last 2 years from how they were suffering, and you don't really see results. And I hope this is something that they take up on and they look where they went right and where they went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it could also be luck because it was raining and cars tend to go slower when it's wet tracks. So maybe they took advantage of that where they said, okay, well, these drivers are rookie drivers and they don't really know how to handle the car in wet situations. Obviously, how much can a rookie practice on the simulator? I mean, you can drive how many hours you want on the track as well, even in wet conditions. But when you're under that light, under that pressure from your teammates, you're actually racing and not doing practice sessions or it's laps around. It's very different. So I guess Stake potentially did that, and I'm pretty happy. Wait, so do they have any rookies in Stake, Arjun?
Gabriel Bortoleto.
And who did you think his performance was substantially good as compared to Battery, or do you think obviously Battery is far ahead from him, but in terms of reaction
We
time
can
and
compare Valtteri with
no, obviously no, but I mean,
Gabriel.
the only reason I'm comparing him to him is because well, he's a replacement driver, right? So again, my question is, do you think he's better in terms of not experience, but reaction time?
No, I feel like if you need to compare Gabriel, it would be Joe because I feel you can compare Valtteri with Nico.
Right.
Both have been there for a very long time in Formula One, whereas Joe at the best was there for just 3 seasons.
Uh-huh.
So we could, if that would be like a sort of like a fair comparison, I would say. And he did what he could. Like again, his drive was really great, but then it's just that small error he managed to pull. That it's just that he couldn't finish the race. So like yeah, again, I exactly don't know how in terms of race pace he's got it or not because he wasn't there for the full race. But speaking about the rookies, we know this year we had 5 rookies. We have Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes, Ollie Wenman for Haas, Gabriel Bortoleto for Kick Sauber, Isaac Hadja for Visa Cash App RB, and Liam Lawson, who's technically not a rookie, but still is a rookie, sorts. And in that one, only Ollie Behrman and Kimi Antonelli were the one to finish the race. Like Ollie Behrman managed to, like, again, this is a very fun fact. Ollie Behrman, within the first race itself, gave Haas a $1 million worth of destruction bill because he managed to crash the car during the free practices. And some of the crashes, like his very first crash, was massive. That I'm pretty sure they had to change the rear wing, rear suspension. Like it was a mess. And second part, again, went through the gravel, damaged the floor, even though. So like yeah, that was like altogether $1 million. But again, he managed to bring the car back home without any points. That is the big part because we don't want another Logan Sargent or Nicholas Latifi to come up with huge repair bills, right? Like that's one thing we don't want to see. But in that one, the notable one is Kimi Antonelli. Like me here, being a Mercedes fan, seeing a 18-year-old on the car which Lewis Hamilton used to drive. What do you feel like again with that sort of performance which he brought in his very first in his debut race?
Oof, that is such a big question. Okay, I think I'm gonna answer this with. I think it's gonna take a lot of time for him to really adjust to Ferrari because obviously they have different units, they have a different team,
Yeah.
uh, and let's be honest, Arjun, he is getting old. So I'm expecting mature racing, but I'm not expecting him to really go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how? Well, I feel like Lewis Hamilton obviously is gonna give his 100%, but there's so many rookies, and as much as this hurts for me to say, I feel, and I've seen the stats, the rookies are far quick when it comes to reaction time. They're more out there. They're,
I gotta deny that, to be very honest.
okay, why do you feel that?
Is I'll tell you because I actually did see the reaction times, and Hamilton's reaction time was the third quickest
Who was the
compared
first
to.
two?
So in that 0 to 100 bit, you've got Max Verstappen 4.1 seconds,
Okay,
Leclerc 4.2, Hamilton 4.3, Sonoda 4.3, Russell 4.3. It's not Lando or
wow.
Oscar.
Okay,
Right.
so okay, wow. So okay, fair. Nathan, do you think that? Obviously, Nathan being so quiet, I'm gonna ask questions on to
He's
Nathan.
a guy with.
Nathan, Nathan, you have the best mic out of all of us. I think you should speak a bit more. So I'm gonna ask you this question, Nathan.
Yeah.
Do you think that um, reaction time affects with age, or does it just is it a skill that comes up that you have to train at?
Well, yeah, I think it's a bit of both. But I feel like for someone like Lewis Hamilton and for someone like Max Verstappen or these elite drivers, basically, if you're part of the sport for a long period of time, I think you do build that consistency. And I think that's really hard to lose if for example, if you're someone like, a Fernando Alonso who has left the sport and come back, probably you might lose a little bit of that pace, that reaction time that you initially possessed when you entered the sport, or as the more experience you get in the sport. But for someone like Lewis, who has been in the sport, since 2007, he's never taken a break. He's been driving an F1 car since 2007. I think that consistency, um, builds, and it does help you out, and it does in some ways. You can train that, and you can get faster. And let's not forget that we do talk about reaction times, and we are at this in this point of time we are talking about 0 to 100 kilometers of acceleration. It's very hard to kind of judge that, especially when the track is slippery, first of all, because the starts were done on inters, I assume. It was wet, right? I assume. So it's all a bit it's all a bit difficult to understand, the reaction times, or the times that it takes from going to 0 to 100 kilometers. And let's not forget, Lewis is driving that Ferrari for the first time, so maybe he gets faster. He just has to get used to that car. So yeah, It's a bit of
I
both, Mihir.
I think you should get used to doing podcasts with us more often.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
we really miss your voice. You know.
Okay. Anyways, speaking about all these, I also want to kind of talk about this guy, Helmut Marko. Why this guy has to just give his random statements, and then after that, on the like again, that guy doesn't have one direction. He just goes all over the place. When some other driver screws up, he'll be like, "Oh, that's so embarrassing. That's so childish." When his driver messed up, he's like, "It's okay. Let's give him 2 or 3 races." Like, dude, you've got like say, let's take the example of Isaac Hadjar. In formation lap, he lost his drive and he spun and then hit the barriers. He's an 18-year-old kid. He obviously will cry because it's his very first his debut race. He cannot race because he hit the car, and naturally anyone would cry. And for this though, Anthony Hamilton, that's Lewis Hamilton's dad, went and consoled him because again, probably it may be a thing where he was having Lewis Hamilton as his idol. So again, probably in that sense, I don't know. You can make anyone can cook up stories on it. But Helmut Marko, when he was asked about this, he was like, "It's so embarrassing to see that." And then you've got Liam Lawson, who is supposedly the one who should be racing along with Max, qualified in at abysmal position, didn't crash the car, and no comments. He's like, "Oh, it's okay." Again, I don't know what is double standards going on in the first place, you know, but what do you guys think?
I mean, I really think if Helmut Marko had painted something on his face and he wore a red nose, I think he would be really good in Ferrari. Guys, it's back again. I need to join some therapy session for Ferrari again. I mean, I can't. I just cannot do this
Nathan,
anymore. I
it's
mean,
just one race.
I
Wait,
know, I know, I know.
we make our listeners tell this. Don't judge the car until 3 races. Okay, don't judge the car until Japan. That's the only request I have.
Yep.
Or worst case scenario, Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is the fifth race on the grid.
Or worst case scenario, Abu Dhabi, and then we look forward to 2026.
Then it's a regulation change.
Yeah, exactly. 2026 is our year, guys. Let's go. But no, Helmut Marko. I mean, I think um, whatever information comes out of Helmut Marko just needs no. You don't need to really study it further. I mean, it's really he's already made a reputation, or he has this reputation of being a interesting and weird personality. We've heard his weird comments last year,
Mhm.
and the seasons before as well. So for him to come out with embarrassing comments about the drivers in his own program, within his own program, and also his own driver, it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest. And I feel like, it's kind of a reflection of the team that he works with, to be honest, Red Bull. Don't you think, Arjun?
Again, I don't. But still, again, it may be the case, but you see a rookie driver at the best had probably when he did that statement of he's a C grade driver or a B grade driver. You've just seen these guys on free practice. Probably you're trying to experiment something. Probably you're doing setup changes, and you like again you don't end up qualifying, but then sometimes you end up performing well. You know, that is the one basic thing I would at least want him to kind of do. Don't wait for the what you call for the free practice or the qualifying. Wait for it to be shown on the race. Probably the race pace would be better. Say Charles Leclerc is his qualifying pace is really quick compared to his race pace. Versus Again, I don't know the other driver to compare who's got qualifying pace bad and race pace good. Who would that be? Who would that be? Any idea, guys? Who would that be?
You could say Hulkenberg. I mean, but no, actually, Hulkenberg does really well in qualifying. He does put the
Hamilton?
car up there.
I was going to say Hamilton as well.
I will say Hamilton though, because Hamilton's race pace is good. Qualifying sometimes messes up. Can't help it out. So yeah, I would just say like just wait. Sometimes it's just that like um you got to give that time. If he says, "Oh, it's the new car, let's give some time in for the drivers to settle in," I think even for his junior team as well as the rookies, he needs to kind of use that same stance instead of being like, "He's a C grade driver, he's a B grade driver." And literally, Gabriel Bortoleto is someone who uh, who basically learned or started his karting career with Fernando Alonso's karting academy. So, it's like even Fernando Alonso is like, I don't care. Like, as you guys said, like, again, I'm not going to give any sort of face value to his comments. But I just felt like, okay, I really wanted to kind of bring this point to the table. But, anyways, I want to ask this though. Since you guys have at least seen the points and what you call the highlights, who, according to you, was that driver who I'll not even say within the first race, but seems to be that underdog driver who has a lot more potential.
Kimi.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got to be the one guy. It's
Yeah.
Andrea Kimi
He went from
Antonelli. I mean,
he went from P15 to P8. I see all green flags in that.
P8,
P5.
Ah, P5.
No, sorry, P4.
P4,
P4.
P4.
He finished. He is. I
From
think.
here, P3. he's just he's he's just always
He's
He,
confused, man.
won that season. He's won it.
it feels like Toto Wolff hyping about this guy. Like Toto was like, I've got my money because I hyped this guy. He delivered it. In fact, if you look into the top five debut race drivers, Kimi Antonelli stands sixth on that list. You've got Jack Villeneuve, uh, debut race P2, Mark Webber P5, Lewis Hamilton P3, Kevin Magnussen P2, Felipe Nasser P5, Kimi Antonelli P4. So it's just that this is in order with the year. That's why he's in the sixth position. But again, he shares the table, and I'm very sure he can break a record. So there's this one record which he would like to own, which is be the youngest Formula One winner, and currently holds with Max Verstappen. And Kimi Antonelli only has two more races to do this. So but he needs to either win the race in Japan or in China. If he wins it, great. That means he holds in the history books. He's got like that sort of a name, being like, oh, the youngest Formula One winner. If not, he'll just be like, okay. But again, I do agree. He is the underdog. Have to give it to him. And have you guys even seen that comment which Oscar Piastri did, saying he used his technique, which he learned from Jeremy Clarkson's farm, to get the car out? For a second, we're like, what?
Yeah, and I think I really didn't understand that. Then I had to search it up. Pretty impressive.
Like, you compare your tractor driving skills to a Formula One car?
Yeah, that's like Mater and McQueen in cars, where Mater can reverse drive with just using his mirrors, and he's the best reverse driver in the world. But again, you would learn so much from this. I was really fascinated by that.
Nathan, what do you think, though, hearing that particular statement from Oscar Piastri?
And me here.
Well, at least it saved his race, and I'm glad that he used, uh, Sir Jeremy's amazing skill. Yeah, I mean, it's actually it's funny how you could basically, use the skills that you drive in a tractor and apply that to a Formula One car. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, maybe, Oscar has a future in farming later down in his life. Who knows?
So you're telling me all those Indians who work at farms can potentially be Formula One racers?
Yes, Mihir. We have an untapped potential. We have this potential market that we haven't really discovered. So if anyone is willing to provide the capital, we will make our own team and enter Formula One.
Wait, no. If you had a Formula One team, what would you name it, Nathan?
Ooh, that's a it's a very deep question.
And I want all the listeners to have the same comment down. What would you name your Formula One team if you had to name one? Arjun,
Ooh.
let's listen to yours.
Well,
I would name it after my dad. Yeah.
like Bobby GP.
Yeah, Bobby G. Yeah, it has a good ring to it. I mean,
Yes, I think related that to Braun GP because
yeah,
of
exactly.
Braun.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go for it. Bobby
Okay, that'll be
GP. Yeah.
Nathan. What about you, Arjun? What would you name your Formula One team?
It's super hard. I can't even put in like an Indian name to it because
Why not? Why not?
what do you want me to put? Nirma Racing.
I mean, if that's what you want to name it, yeah.
No. Again, it's I would rather not. I would rather not have a racing team.
Wow. Nathan, can you imagine? This guy has a capital to make his own Formula One team, and he chose not to
Yeah.
because he can't name a fucking Formula One.
Sponsor a team, then make a team. I'm
That's so
He
going to
will
bad.
sell.
sponsor.
He's willing to sell his soul to the capitalists out there, so that they could put their brand name in Arjun's team. I see Lance Stroll looking Indian Stroll.
I'm not stay away here. Definitely not. Like again, I just feel like I would rather be someone like Toto. You know,
Oh,
first, first probably like try doing that failed race career, and then after that work in finance, and then after that, what do you call, work with the Formula One team, and then just get a share of it.
Fair.
yeah.
That also works.
I guess so.
And what about you, Mihir? What would your Formula One team be called?
Fatafat. That
What?
means fatafat. That in Hindi that means fast.
The Fatafat Formula One team?
Whoa, that sounds so catchy. Here comes the fatafat overtaking Lewis Hamilton's bro. And it was so fatafat we didn't even realize.
No, definitely for the Indian commentators, it will be like a very
I,
easier.
w- I want all our listeners to go watch at least one race in Hindi. Please. I watched a few highlights in Hindi. Oh my god, bro. They couldn't pronounce a few names. They butchered their names.
No, but I actually even saw like one of the Formula One content creators. He was like, "Oh, let's not criticize them because not everyone says names correctly."
Which is fine. It's the commentary while racing. It's not the names. It's the way they sound so excited in Hindi, which makes it seem like we're watching cricket at one point.
Okay,
Yeah, you should watch it.
I haven't. I did see the bit. Like I did see the reaction to it. I haven't seen the exact commentary. So like, yeah, if you find
Okay.
a link, feel free to share. I would love to
I
watch.
will, Arjun. I will. Just reply to my Gmails, please.
Lol. Anyways, and yeah, as we are heading down to China this weekend, it's not even this weekend. We record this episode on a Wednesday. Thursday, all the teams would be down there. In fact, I just got to know that some of the teams, their shipments from Australia got delayed by 30 hours. So instead of for them to set up the entire infrastructure is going to take a bit more longer time
Mm-hmm.
because for I think for Mercedes, McLaren, Haas, and Sauber, the shipments came in late, so they couldn't do the setups, and even the Pirelli tires also came in late. So it's just that there may be a chance that the race will have a delayed start. Maybe, not sure. If things go by plan, everything happens well and good. If not, I don't know what to say. But yeah, China, an interesting track. You want to give some highlights, Mia?
Sure. All right. So the Chinese Formula One GP or the International Circuit
Shanghai,
was
not
first.
Shanghai.
Oh, Shanghai. Sorry, my bad. Um,
Guys living in
Super
the UK
tired.
just got Schengen in his mind.
Sorry. I want to go to Singapore so bad. Not Singapore, Spain so bad. Anyway, uh, so it's 56 laps. The circuit length is 5.4 kilometers. The total race distance is 305 kilometers. And Michael Schumacher has a lap record of 1 minute 32 seconds point 238, which is back in 2004.
When?
Yeah.
That's a
Now the
long.
Chinese GP is absolutely outstanding because they have a really long straight line and they could actually take this as an advantage. So teams like McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin, they might use turn 16, which is the last sector of sector 3, the last turn of sector 3 and the first turn. These two are potentially really good for overtaking. I think turn 3 could also be really good. Coming down the chicane, which is in sector 2, which is turn 7 and 8, they seem pretty okay for overtaking, but I would use the outside line. And sector 3, first corner, turn 11, seems like a good place to overtake. So I would say when you're watching these races, try to understand the circuit, try to understand the sectors, and you would analyze the race a bit more in detail. That's my perspective on the Chinese GP. Who do I think is going to be conquering this? Looking at the results and having this discussion with Arjun, I would say McLaren has a very good opportunity for straight lines. But when it comes to turning, again, too early to say anything. But if Stake, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull keep their improving game and caps on, I think they could do something really fascinating.
Well, just to add again, you've got with certain teams who are really good at those low speed corners, and some teams with the high speed corners, and I feel like again, this can be anyone's game to be very honest, because this is one of those tracks. Say, as Mihir said, with the final sector, the long 1.2 kilometer straight, drivers can go at a maximum, like can go over 340 kilometers an hour, and it is a heavy braking zone, and you have like, and you're going back into the main straight, and then you're going again down to some intense low corner moves. So it's anyone's battle, the second race of the season, but we don't know what's coming up. Probably, I think uh Friday we will get to know the first bit taste of it, because this is also a sprint weekend as well. So we are seeing Formula One's first sprint for 2025 in Shanghai. Last year it was Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull. Sorry, it was Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull. But anyways, sprint race, really excited. And you're only going to see one free practice. Hopefully, it's anyone's game, as I said, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's all from us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning on to another episode. And we look forward to entertaining you guys for another 23 races and something in between as well. Until then, this is the entire crew from Formula Pod signing off. Bye.